All right, going live, going live. Oh, we are live. We are live, and we have a very special guest. Thank you for being here, Francesca Fiorentini.
What's up? How you doing, RM?
Hey, what's up? So we met in New York doing the Sam Cedar thing.
Boy, did we.
Boy, did we. And something I noticed about that, I've been following Sam Cedar for a long time just because, like, I mean, well, forever, since the beginning of the Majority Report, because it was, like,
Yeah.
the only thing back then. But something I noticed about that is people really think Sam Cedar is handsome nowadays.
Oh.
He has
Oh, yeah.
he has aged very well, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, people were just coming up in that back room. They were like, "You're cute," just like straight up. So he's getting.
They said that to him?
That's the vibe I got. Is that like just it would be like people would come in and be like, "You're handsome," and
That's what I said to everybody in the green room when I like met everybody.
They
Oh,
were-
shoot.
But I feel like Sam Cedar was getting it. He was really getting it. People were really laying it on. But he is. It's true.
I might have been a little buzzed to notice that, but yeah, I mean,
I probably called him handsome.
he's kind of a silver fox zaddy. Let's be real, and he's smart. He's got good politics. Are we going to talk about how much we, how much we all want to, just. I'm gonna do really disgusting makeout. I'm gonna do grade school makeout because I'm on the RM. Just like
Oh, that's a classic. That's a classic.
classic.
That's
Just
a-
like this with Sam Cedar. Is that what we're gonna talk about?
Yeah, totally. If Sam Cedar's listening, we all want to do that makeout thing to you.
We all want to do makeout arms with you.
So come on anytime, and we'll make out with you. Okay, Francesca. I want to play a little clip of you on where I get my news from, the Piers Morgan show. Let's check this.
No.
Let's check this out. Let's check this out. Here we go. Here we go. It's about to play. It's about to play.
With very
I'm very
different views come on and talk to each other. And I would like to think at
But
the end
Piers,
of it,
you're being so
go on.
you're so dishonest, dude. You're
Get
so
him.
dishonest though. Because
Get
all
it
you
back.
do on this show is play off social media
It's a queen right
algorithms
there.
to get people to fight. You lead with it in the cold open and you get the clicks, and if you don't hit a mill, you never ask that person back. You literally play the game that Kat is decrying. And I think that I love the idea, especially I love Kat's book and the way it targets women, because specifically women are the ones who it's like, if we say one thing that you don't like, I hated you from the beginning, right? Women are extra vulnerable to this, especially online. But Piers, stop pretending like you think there's something wrong and we can't. Why
You know,
can't we reach
Francesca,
across
this is the best part. This is the only good part of the show.
algorithm
Yeah,
is
Francesca,
based on it.
it's
Your
a
whole
lovely s-
model is based on it.
Francesca, it's a lovely statement that will get you lots of clicks
Hey, shut up,
from
Piers.
your followers, and that's why
Shut
you
your
just
ass
delivered
up.
your little monologue. However, it's
Bro,
based on
I'm
a...
here.
Wait a
I'm
minute.
here on this
You've
panel
had your
for
say.
free.
It's based on
I
a-
am there for free. They don't
based on a
pay.
false
They don't
premise.
pay?
I do not
You-
have nearly the following
You don't.
that you
You
do. I'm
don't
just trying to
normally
point
get.
out your own
Wait a minute.
hypocrisy.
You don't normally get 1 million views for me, but I still invite you back.
Whoa!
So that can't be true.
Shots fired.
I do it as an act of charity because I like you.
I check the
Oh.
sets. You know I crush.
Unbelievable.
You know I crush Piers.
I like
Okay.
having you on because
Okay,
just
we
You know,
get it.
I
We
do
get
well
it.
for him on the, but yeah, that's enough. That's enough. The bloodbath is complete. Yeah. Oh boy, it's been like 6 or 7 months that I've been going on the show, and each time I'm like, nah, like, you know what I mean? I don't ever want to be asked back, but they ask me back, and so I was like, now I have to have fun with this. But that was just him being like, I'm a liberal. I'm a liberal the way that Bill Maher's a liberal. You know, we both hate Muslims, and that's how it is. Like, he is so full of it. And like, you just look at the comment section on his videos and you're like, yeah, no, like, the jig is up. You're a crazy Islamophobe, Zionist, misogynist, and all you want is Donald Trump to go on your show. And it's so funny because the fact that he won the election, I mean, the smallest of the silver linings is that he will definitely never go on Piers Morgan Uncensored now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that is the thing. Like his show, like at first, well, first of all, it gets massive views. Like the views are crazy on that show. But
Right,
it is
because
like,
as you mentioned before we went live, it's like the Jerry Springer of online content.
yeah, it's totally useless. You don't learn anything. He gets like he'll get you on, he'll get somebody smart on, and then he'll get 3 like escaped lunatics on to just like his fingers are crossed that they'll just yell at each other the whole time. You know what I mean?
Dude, there's like always like children on. There's like some like a child will just appear and it's like, I'm a MAGA influencer, and you're just like, what the fuck is this? Or like, oh, that's the new Department of Education head. Like, great.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
should shut it down.
He should just go full on with it and have like, you know, like dogs loose running around the studio. Like just go, if you're doing a crazy show, just do Mr. Beast or something, you know? He's basically
Absolutely.
But there was a one he had, this was just like a couple days ago. He had this guy Dan Bilzerian, I call him. Dan Bilzerian on, you know who that guy is?
No, I think isn't that really tan guy who was like actually talks about like what's going on in Palestine?
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
He does, but he's actually like he does seem kind of racist actually, and like
Well, he's like, oh, I think you are an anti-Semite. I think this one's real. We got a real one.
yeah, he finds the one guy who's critical, and it's like, oh, he's also like actually an anti-Semite. But
Right.
but it's like it's just like wildly irresponsible, I think, because he's not. I mean, Piers Morgan has access to any like real expert or somebody who's smart who we can
course he does.
learn from this, but he chooses to have a guy who was like an Instagram influencer who would just like take pictures with Instagram models that he would pay, and now he's like talking about Palestine. It's absolutely irresponsible and insane, I think.
Well, that's actually, I wanted to speak to that because the one time I did really poorly on Piers, and he, you know, the right like clipped this up, they made it a big thing. It was the Monday after Trump was found guilty in the falsifying business records in Manhattan, right? And you know, when they were like, do you want to come on? I was like, sure, yeah. I mean, dunking on Donald Trump, this is going to be easy. This is going to be fun. Obviously, like, you know, I forgot, you go right into the lion's den, and you always know what the framing of the discussion is going to be based on how Piers Morgan will set it up. And that day, he set it up with just like, so Trump's been maligned and he's been improperly convicted, and what did he really do even? So here to talk about it is 3 literal goblins and Francesca, the comedian / podcaster who we're going to ask to explain what the charges were. And I was like, motherfucker, that's your job. Like, I'm not on here to like know exactly what the charge was. He found guilty by a jury. And so, of course, I didn't have the exact like falsifying business records, everybody, in case you need to know. But I was like, he was cooking the books, man. He wrote one thing down and then he messed up on his TurboTax. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've all been there. And they were like, oh, see, like that's proof that this isn't real. And so again, it's just like the responsibility when it comes to journalism is 0 with this guy. And apparently Piers used to like, which was it, the Mirror UK that he used to run back in the day, which was actually kind of good and critical of the Iraq War and critical of Tony Blair. And so he is again kind of a victim of, I guess, honestly, the right-wing rage bait from the beginning, because he then very much lost his way. And he's just kind of a guy who like wants to be invited to Mar-a-Lago or Bedminster to play, you know, 9 holes or whatever. And he absolutely also was on Lolita Express with Epstein. Like, I definitely know that Piers Morgan has some Epstein dirt. I mean, and some Epstein skeletons.
Yeah, I kind of feel we were talking a little bit about this. I feel like the Epstein thing is interesting because it's like it would have been at least a more interesting presidential election if they were like, you know, hey, these new tapes came out and there's like every form of media, like audio, video, terabytes of pictures, handwritten notes, you know, they're trading, they're commenting on each other's Facebooks, like every form of Epstein contact.
They poked each other like 10 times in 2009.
They're hearting each other's posts all the time. It would have been at least interesting if it was the like, okay, so you guys like Epstein, you guys are on the Epstein vote, but it seems like a lot of the people in, let's just say, like the political class or whatever, don't want to talk about. They kind of want him to maybe go away a little bit. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, what the sus part for me is that as soon as he died under totally not suspicious circumstances,
No.
as soon as he died, the mainstream news basically dropped the Epstein story. So when he was alive and when he had been in prison and awaiting trial, they had the journalists on from the Miami Herald and others who broke the story about Epstein and the mass sex trafficking. They spoke to the young women who were survivors. There were documentaries on and on and on, and a lot of news at the time. I think I was watching more like MSNBC, and they would have them on. They would talk about it. CNN would, and as soon as he got, it was like,
Who?
who? And
Never heard of him.
and the best clip ever, right? We have to remember, how not Steve Jobs. Oh my God, how I'm forgetting the billionaires. I'm forgetting the Microsoft billionaires. Bill Gates. Bill Gates was on mainstream news. I think it was on PBS NewsHour. Judy Woodruff is like, what about these, whatever it was, you could play the clip, like Jeffrey Epstein, allegations. You knew Jeffrey Epstein, right? And isn't that?
I remember that clip. Yeah.
And he's like, well, he's dead now. It's like,
problem solved. He does one of these. He does yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
He's out of here. Never heard of him.
You're welcome.
Never heard of him. Never will.
Amazing. Yeah, man. I do want to just take a time out and mention that RM Brown and I are just forever joined now.
Bonded.
We've been bonded.
Yeah.
Having both been baptized in lots of whiskey on the night of the election.
That's right.
When nobody else wanted to go out, and it was like midnight and 12:30.
Disgusting.
And
what are they doing?
disgusting.
What were they doing? What were they doing that was so important, you think?
Oh, we gotta go sleep. I'm gonna go rest my head.
Bunch
Meanwhile,
of nerds, bunch of dweebs.
just a bunch of dweebs, and we go out and we collect. I mean, there was like 5 of us, right? I don't even remember everyone's name, but there was a lot of hugging and a lot of whiskey.
We did it right. We did what you're supposed to do. We made a bad night fun, I think.
100%. And I did have a pretty bad hangover, but I stuck with one liquor the whole night, so that was helpful. But we also talked to random people in the bar who were both unprompted, was ignoring all the Gaza stuff and, just like, Biden's a war criminal, blah, blah, blah. And I'm from Pennsylvania. And then it's just like, you don't got to be a pundit. Take that, Sam Cedar. You don't got to be Sam Cedar.
You don't have to be handsome like Sam Cedar.
Who wants to kiss Sam Cedar? Not me.
Not me. Nobody. People weren't trying to kiss him all night. That's sick. No, but that was cool. That was cool to just that we ran into people at the bar who were super cool, and they had some good takes, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even drunk.
Yes.
Even what level of first of all,
what level of drunk?
What level of drunk were you? 1 to 10.
I don't have very many levels because I go to puke pretty quick, you know what I mean? So I wish I could. I mean, I don't wish, but I don't black out and shit. But here, full disclosure. When I came out to do the show, I had only had half of a drink.
Okay.
But my nature is to respond to how effing sad and sort of stodgy the air was in that room, and I overcompensate, and I as a comic, as someone who does stand up, I want to read the room and have fun and be stupid and be silly. And that's kind of what I tried to do. So I played up the idea that I was more smashed than I was actually smashed. Then progressively, as we were all hanging out, I was getting up to a 7, 8,
Whoa. Yeah. I was pretty close. There. But it's, you get a couple per year, right? Where you just go for it, irresponsibly go for it, I think.
I have a 2-year-old. I have a 2-year-old. I never get to go out. I can't drink past 9 p.m. without suffering the consequences. So, no, it was great. And I didn't pick up the tab. I feel like I owe you money, probably.
You do. I'll be collecting on that. But I did want to ask you, we were talking a little bit about the 4B thing. Somebody sent this to me. 4B, if anybody doesn't know what this is, it was a thing that kind of like started in South Korea. There were these high profile cases of like violence against women, and there was this reaction where there was this kind of group of women who were like, you know what, we're out of the dating game now. We're gonna do this sort of like protest because the cops in South Korea were kind of like turning a blind eye to this violence and all this, and then it kind of got adopted on TikTok in the U.S. after the election.
Yeah.
I wanted to get somebody sent this to me. And they're doing these like compilations of it, and whatever the media was running with it. They've probably already forgotten about it, but I wanted to see what you think. I got thoughts on it, but what do you think?
Yeah. Well, but are you gonna play it for me, or I'm gonna?
Let me see. You know what? I don't have it queued up, but I did send you an interview where it's actually from a channel with a great name. It's called Asian Boss. And
Oh, hell yeah.
and they do anybody go watch that interview. If you put in 4B Asian Boss, it'll come up. But she gives like the history of it, and basically what she says is like, yeah, it was a movement. It never really grew that big, but she also talks about the main problem in South Korea. The main like problem why there's less people trying to start a family and all that is because there's like insane inequality in the cities in South Korea. I mean, it's like the housing prices
Yes.
are out of control. A lot of
Yes.
people are living in these sort of like, like that movie Parasite style basements and all that.
Yeah.
So to me, that was always like.
Well, I mean, it's easy to like not fuck when you live with your parents in like a one bedroom. So there's also that.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're like, yeah, no, nobody's having sex. But yeah, I covered the 4B movement maybe like a year ago, but it had already been going, for like many, many years now. And I think what's interesting, look, I love globalized movements. I think it's dope. I think that Occupy definitely popped off because of the Arab Spring. I think that we grow and learn from one another. I think that, I love the feminist movements of Latin America specifically. I used to live in Argentina, and they really hadn't gone through a second wave feminist movement in the year 2013 even. And then in 2015, 2016, as they were fighting for their abortion rights, this like very radical young women and honestly queer people led feminist movement to gain abortion access was like incredible and like really revolutionized and changed the country and a lot of Latin America. So I love this. That being said, I don't want to be too facile with like, yeah, we just should adopt that here, because I think that the 4B movement, to your point, when you're talking about like high profile murders, high profile stalking cases,
Right.
plus a horrible, simultaneously a neoliberal economy that's not working for people, and all of these traditional gender roles that say that you as a woman should get married and take care of your husband's family, to say nothing of like pumping out a bunch of kids, but nobody can afford kids. So it's like, Korea was seen as like they're part of like the paper tiger, economies that are doing so well, and they're such an incredible like example of capitalism. And it's like, nah, man, it's not actually working for people. And so I think Korean, like this 4B movement is like, as terrible as I think gender relations are in the United States, I feel like they have it a lot worse.
It does seem like that. Yeah, if you watch, there's like so many interviews and documentaries where it's just like, yeah, this is like, it's out of control. It's impossible to live in these cities, And,
Right.
and when you have that, it's like, it's going to make that's the thing though, that going back to like Piers Morgan, to me, like part of it, I mean, obviously it's an insane show, but it's also like political stuff is interesting because you're dealing with like life and relationships and all that stuff. It all like factors it all leaks into that. And when you have like these idiots who are just making it like, a circus or whatever, you lose what it's really about. And here, like with what we're talking about with South Korea, it is like affecting people's like the basics of people's lives, like the ability
Right.
to have a family and all that. And like, Yeah, it seems like
But 4B is basically no sex with men,
yeah,
no marriage, no kids, and no dating.
right. No, nothing.
So, like, I feel like I could do, I could probably do, well, I have a kid, so I'm fucked. I am
Ah,
married.
Too late
So,
for you.
but let's just imagine blank slate Franny.
Yeah.
Like, 23-year-old me. I mean, I'm a serial monogamous, so I was definitely in a relationship at 23. But the no dating would be the hardest because it's fun,
Yeah.
as someone who is heterosexual, as boring as that is. I'm like, it's fun for especially women who are like, yeah, I get sleeping around, not satisfying. Obviously, marriage, kids, blah, who wants it? Who needs it?
Terrible.
Suckers. But definitely the dating, I'm like, but you want to flirt, I think flirting and dating and going out, like that's fun.
Yeah.
That to me would be hard. But again, if you might get killed,
Right.
maybe it's easy, or like someone might film you in their bathroom, like, you know what I mean? Like weird shit, like filming people in the bathroom and like, again, femicide. I mean, that was another thing that was really big in Argentina was like there was a lot of femicides and they weren't being investigated. They weren't being actually properly labeled as femicide, meaning, crimes committed by someone's partner or against someone because they are a woman, on and on and on. And so, this country, we're headed there, RM. Like we could be going there very shortly. I mean, we already have classified women second-class citizens in so many states based on their uteruses and how much they want control of their own bodies. So, I saw shit like when I was reporting in El Salvador and I was reporting from a women's prison where women were being imprisoned for 30 years to life for having abortions. And instead, many of them had just had miscarriages. Some of them didn't know they were pregnant until they miscarried, woke up in a hospital, handcuffed to the fucking bed because the hospital workers are straight snitches, snitch on them to the cops saying this person had an abortion. That is definitely a reality, like more apropos than South Korea, where we are currently, many states are at right now.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing that I've been reading about is the sort of like digital surveillance stuff. A couple of the articles I read are, they're about like warrantless kind of phone tracking stuff.
Yeah.
And the way that they frame a couple of these articles that I read are like, well, how are you gonna keep? I mean, what's happening with the abortion rights stuff is how are you gonna keep people from going to another state? And it seems like a lot of people. I mean, it makes it more dangerous and everything. But how are you going to keep people from going to another state? And the concern now is this digital phone tracking stuff. And I kind of think
it already has been.
Yeah. And that's like a bigger thing, like just like total surveillance that's like nonstop and like all encompassing. Yeah, it's really crazy how that.
I can't remember the state. Was it Texas? But yes, the mother and daughter who she was 20 weeks pregnant, which yes is far along. It's true, but gave herself a medical abortion, survived it. I mean, it is kind of late to do that, and then they buried the fetus in the yard, and it's like they got, I think, prison time over that. So I mean, obviously, no matter how you feel, but this is a product of not having abortion access earlier in the pregnancy, and by the time you understand where you're at or what term you're at, or by the time you're even able to see someone, it's too late. And then it was through their Facebook messages
That's right. I remember
that they were
story,
convicted.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
Fucking
another
wild.
that's another thing. I mean, obviously it has implications for this, but like for everything, the warrantless kind of surveillance stuff is like people. That used to be kind of more of a fringe thing, but now it's like I'm seeing it everywhere where people are like concerned about this.
Well, yeah, I
rightly
mean,
so.
and yeah, I mean, for us, it's like you can't, specifically abortion. I mean, like, obviously so many of, if you talk about abortion or Palestine, your videos on YouTube, for example, are being demonetized. And yet, when they are monetized, Google's just running a bunch of like so-called pro-life, anti-choice ads in front, like, this is baby Olivia. Olivia wants to grow up in a home with love, and you're like that, and you're just like, what the fuck? So what I'm saying is that's going to keep on going, and I like Tulsi Gabbard is now going to be the head of the national security or national intelligence or whatever. Like, this bitch is going to comb YouTube and find everyone who's ever talked shit about her and be like, delete it. You know, like that is that level.
Ooh, oh, that's brutal. Oh,
And
man.
she's going to cozy up to obviously support any Hindu nationalist YouTube channels. I don't know. It'll be rough. I'm gonna actually probably let this part go gray just in her honor. So if she sees me, she'll be like, maybe one of us. Leave her alone.
The streak is kind of cool. Maybe that's one positive. I mean, everything else totally negative, but maybe that's one cool thing we could say about Tulsi. I found a video of you. I've been to Cuba once. I saw a video of you in Cuba.
Oh God, this is old, but yeah, hell
It's
yeah.
old, yeah. I was doing reconnaissance on you. But do you remember being? Because I went a long time ago too, and I was like, I loved it there. What was your like vibe in Cuba?
So I went in 2015.
Yeah, I went around then too. Yeah.
Yeah, what a time. And it was like the perfect moment of like Obama had gone on their like sitcom, the Spanish language sitcom. It was like things were good. Things felt good between the US and Cuba. And I went with my partner at the time who was Argentine, and I speak Spanish, and so like, and they love Maradona. Maradona's always been, you know, the Argentine soccer player, big, like, you know, stalwart supporter of Cuba and Cuban human rights and blah, blah, blah. And like, and so it was great. I mean, it was awesome to be there, to speak Spanish, to like go around town. To be honest with you, it really felt like the world upside down. It was like you were on a different timeline.
Yeah.
And there are many problems in Cuba. And yet they are the opposite problems of the problems that capitalists had. So my favorite conversations were, you know, talking to people when they were like, oh, do you have like an extra cute like shirt, or like I like this, like, could you have, like, I just want to buy a thing, like I want to buy something cute, like we don't have anything cute here. And then I'd be like, yeah, you know, we've got a lot of like great shops, and you know, you can buy a little, you know, fun things and look really nice, but we don't have universal health care. And they were like, ew, what do you mean? Yeah, it costs a lot to go to a doctor, and you have to wait really, you know, a long time to see them, and then sometimes you can't pay for it, especially if you have an emergency. You could be charged thousands of dollars for the ambulance ride. And they were like, excuse, like it was, they were very thrown off by that. I think they were like, maybe the German tourists are more like, yeah, no, we have it all, you know. But no, it was, you know, you talk to a cab driver, and cab drivers, I will say this, cab drivers the world over, I think, are a little conservative. I just want to put that out there, because I feel like people like use cab driver anecdotes way too much. But I think cab drivers generally can be like fairly middle class, like middle to upper middle class almost. You know, they're not like the working poor necessarily. I just want to put that out there. But this cab driver he was like, oh yeah, I drive a cab now because I was an agronomist for the Castro government.
Right.
And it was too stressful and the money wasn't good. And I was like, what? And he was like, well, yeah, you know, like I advised on agricultural issues, but it was such a stressful job and they really weren't paying me very well. And so I decided just to drive a taxi for money. And it's like, this is why some incentive structure for difficult jobs is important, you know? Like,
Right. Yeah.
it is. I don't know if you, I mean, and then I met a documentary filmmaker. She's actually a fixer. I think she probably left Cuba, but she was trained as a doctor. So she was working as a medic in Cuba and then switched to becoming like a fixer filmmaker type because the money wasn't good as a doctor. And she said she worked in a rural area outside of Havana and would have to buy, or she would bring milk and cheeses from the, you know, rural area into the town to sell, to like make ends meet. This is a doctor. Now, I think that doctors in this country, I mean, they have hard jobs, but I think a lot of them have a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
And I think that our healthcare industry preys on us and wants us to be sick. So I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but like, there needs to be more of a like we have learning to do for one another. But you tell me your thoughts.
No, totally. I mean, one of the things that I thought was weird is I met just at random. I met American medical students there, and
Yeah,
it's so
that's
common.
crazy.
It's so common for like people who want to be a doctor to go there because it's so because of two things like what you were saying with like the healthcare system it doesn't work here. I mean, I've been like dealing with it, like doing the having to go through these plans that are all a scam and all this stuff. But like also the education thing, it's like they are living in Cuba to get a medical education.
Right,
You know,
right.
it's like, yeah, you're right. There are nuances and we could figure it out, but it's like there are clear examples of like this crap that doesn't work. And like this country that's been like under attack for whatever 60, 70 years or
Yes.
whatever, like they've been able to figure things out despite that is crazy.
Yes, it's absolutely wild. I mean, and it's tenuous, right? And who knows if now with Marco Rubio as the Secretary of State, how that's going to look. I can only imagine we will be funneling tons of money to foment even more,
Oh yeah.
opposition, and and again, I think that the Cuban government does need a change, but I do think that so long as they're living under a sanctions regime, that makes it incredibly difficult to do so, and certainly doesn't make the lives of Cuban people any better. If anything, obviously, it makes it way, way, way worse. But it's the other beautiful thing about Cuba is no advertising.
Hmm.
Like you just look out and you're like, oh, I'm in a big city and I'm not being bombarded with ads everywhere. I mean, imagine if you took any Skyline or you took any Drive or anything and you just got rid of all the ads. Like, I feel like a weight would be lifted and I could just breathe a little bit better and like take things in.
Yeah, totally. There's also like, some of this might just be a stereotype, but it does seem like people are out kind of like hanging out a lot. Like there is, I don't even know how to put this, but there is like the politics of that country have like leaked into or are part of the social like environment or whatever, where it's just like people are hanging out there, like strangers are meeting on the bus, and like
Yeah.
there's something, it is like being in a totally different reality where it's like a little more
Yes.
like you know less like cutthroat, like there's more of a social environment.
But,
People.
but but I've traveled in Latin America a lot, and I lived in Argentina for many years, and I can tell you I've never felt safer
Oh
than
yeah,
in
that's true.
Cuba
Yeah.
because, again, the capitalism breeds inequality, and inequality breeds desperation, which does breed crime. Like crime is a symptom of capitalism, and Latin America especially has some of the most unequal cities in the world. And you have to watch your back. You have to watch your belongings constantly. And going around Cuba and having people hanging out, but not like sizing you up and down and not looking to steal something from you. Like that was very, very palpable. I don't know how to explain that it just like wasn't shady in ways that so many like city centers in the United States can be shady sometimes. Again, because people are desperate, and so there was a sense of like, okay, people are eating. They may not be gainfully employed. They may not be able to sort of like work their way up any kind of ladder here, but they are not starving, right? The basic needs have been met, right? And I also think there's a part and parcel of like, there's probably a lot of penalty if you do steal, and but then this was like, who are you going to sell this phone to? Don't Nobody got no money, like nobody, like there's just like, so again, it's like all of the opposite problems. It's wild.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That is what it is. It's like it's flipped upside down. Okay, look, let's take a call. You might not be able to hear this, so I'll just like relay
Okay.
it. But let's see what's up. Let's see what the Discord is saying. Lin
Oh
Lin, are you
shit.
Lin, are you there? This is a thing that people do on Discord where they come in and then I can't hear them.
Oh, that's fun.
Lin Lin, are you there? Okay, no. Oh my God, Lin.
Oh, hi.
Hey, Lin, what's up? Do you have a question for Francesca?
Hey, Lin.
One sec. You know, can I give you a little bit of like panic
Uh-huh.
about this new administration?
Okay.
I am worried about trans care in the United States under Donald Trump, because he said on the campaign that he wants to eliminate all forms of transition care.
Okay.
And for me, that like I'm post-op. My body does not produce hormones, and thousands, millions of other transgender people do not have had surgeries where we need. It's not just a psychological need for hormones. We need hormones to live. I can't live without estrogen.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So they don't. They're just they're so inept, and they know better. Ken Paxton has had this explained to him in court. He's had it explained to him by doctors, but they
don't care. They don't care.
They absolutely don't care at all. And if they take away hormone therapy in the United States for trans people like me, that's genocide. It's an act of genocide. So I'm just putting an alarm out as far as how severe and how we should be talking about this like right now.
Yeah, absolutely, Lin. Okay, I don't know if you could hear any of that, Francesca. I'm sorry. I'm still figuring out the.
Just tell me what they said at the end, because I could hear only. I'm like watching back.
Yeah.
But it's about gender affirming care, access to hormones, and how real that is for so many people, including like menopausal women and my mom. My mom's been on hormone replacement for like 20 years. So 30, 40. She's been on it for 40 years. Like, this truly fucks with people's entire bodies and minds, to say nothing of being hateful and ridiculous. I mean, then you got RFK Jr. being at the head of HHS, right? You're just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I really do. I really do think we need doctors and physicians to step up. I mean, I really do think that, especially, and it's same with abortion care, like we need more people to create like underground networks to assist people should some of this support go away. And I'm not seeing a lot of that organizations like step up in this moment. I mean, it is a little bit frightening, especially, and I can only, because I'm more intimate with it, I feel like, trans activism has always been, on the fringes, but fighting. Meaning they've never been sort of normalized into a grand nonprofit industrial complex the way the abortion rights movement has.
Right.
But in terms of the abortion rights movement, you're like, there is so much money here, and yet we have been caught flat-footed. Y'all have been caught flat-footed. You fundraise so much, and yet, and again, there's been a million fires to put out. There have been court cases in this state and that state. It all goes, again, many people have been fighting. But it just makes me so mad at the nonprofit industrial complex for not even having if A happens, we do B. Like, we find physicians, we connect people, we go underground, we fund it through this way. Like, there is, I feel like, and maybe these conversations are happening, but I don't hear them about how do we actually get life-saving, life-sustaining medicine, healthcare to people. And I think, look, in the first Trump administration, we saw the massive outpouring of Medicaid recipients who did not want to see the ACA restrict, expanded Medicaid, for example, and Medicare also. And so, fucking disabled folks were dragged out of the halls of Congress. Let's go. We do it again. We ride again, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so weird to watch. Like, I mean, they are treating people who already have like so many like such a challenging life, just like single them out as like a political pawn and make their lives harder. It's insane. It's crazy. It's such an obvious.
And
Like,
it's such social Darwinism
yeah.
in the sickest way possible. If you're rich enough, you're fine. Because I mean, one of the stories that also didn't break through in the election cycle, but like, Democracy Now! Had, was it Donald Trump's nephew on, right?
Uh-huh.
Trump's nephew, who has a son with severe disabilities, and, talking about trying to get money from the Trump family, but beyond that, trying to advocate for people with disabilities, and giving them purpose, and giving them, severe disabilities, being able to see them as human, incorporate them into society, whatever it is. And like Trump was, his response was, why don't you just let him die? Why don't you just let him die? So that's his nephew's, that's his family.
Right. Yeah. Unbelievable. Let's take one more call and then I'll let you get the hell out of here. You have to pick up your kid.
I got time. I've got like 40 minutes. You're good.
40 minutes? Okay. All right. Let's see. 40 minutes? I don't know if I could do Okay, here we go. Here's Bill. Bill, are you there? Let's see.
Hey, how you doing, my friend? Can you hear me?
Bill, what's up? Bill's got a really good voice. I love that velvety, and now the velvety voice of Bill. Bill, what's up?
And now the 5-time award-winning R.M. Brown podcast.
What's going
Or
on,
something
Bill?
like
You got a question for Francesca here?
I do.
All right.
I do.
Hit us.
It's a little lighter. I wanted to know, regarding media ecosystems, who does Francesca watch? Who does she like to turn on when she's unwinding or when she's trying to learn something new in the news?
Good question from Bill there. He wants to know who do you watch? Who do you pay attention to? Listening to the delay. Okay, go ahead. You okay?
A crystal flute.
You people are perverts, man.
I'll just play drops.
Oh.
Dead.
Oh! Oh!
Now I don't know who I'm talking to anymore.
Okay, me. You got me now. Who do you watch? Who do you pay attention to?
Let's see. So for the longest time, I mean, it's been Democracy Now! For many, 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 many years. And watching is only like the advent of watching is sort of new. So, but my girl Amy gets me down. She can depress the shit out of me.
A little bit of a drag. Come on, Amy.
Come on, you gotta pep it up a little bit, and so I do listen. I listen to Sam and Emma fairly regularly. God, who else do I mean, how do I like get my information?
Do you watch anything that's just garbage? Do you watch anything where you're just like, this is purely just trash that I'm watching?
I'm really bad at watching trash. I mean, so I will, I listen to like Radio Ambulante, but that's kind of fun. It's like a Spanish language podcast.
Okay.
On the Media used to be good, kind of. I'm trying to see what I used to listen to. And what I do listen to. I love Behind the Bastards. Sometimes what I really love? Okay, here's what I'm going to plug. I love the podcast, the Reveal podcast from the Center for Investigative Reporting. They're great. So I definitely big ups to the Reveal podcast. I just finished the podcast series on the Real News Network by a friend of mine named Michael Fox called Under the Shadow. And it's all about U.S. Militarism in Latin America. Under the Shadow. It's great. You don't get a lot of good English language, Latin American news. So I love that. If people want to listen to, here's another really good series. The show on BBC4 called, this is a podcast. It was all about the Syrian civil war and the misinformation surrounding it. I'm gonna find this.
Sounds pretty
Hang
good. The BBC Four.
Yeah, I don't know. They have so many BBCs.
Yeah, they used to do. I don't know, maybe in the like 80s or whatever. They used to do. They used to do really interesting, kind of like weird stuff. I haven't been paying attention though, lately.
God damn it! I'm gonna. I think it was called Intrigue was the podcast, and it was all about the Syrian civil war, which I like really have interest in, and all the misinformation that came out around it. I'm gonna find. I'm a terrible person. I'm sorry. I tried to watch Housewives, and I was like, I'm gonna get into this. I'm sure I can get into this. Let's go. I'm gonna do Housewives.
Yeah.
I turned on. I think it was like Salt Lake City because I heard it was extra messy, and I could not get past the last time on Housewives recap. It bothered me so much. I was like, to myself, I'm sitting there going, nope. Like I can't fuck with that much trash, but I do love. I mean, I don't think I'm alone in saying the Great British Baking Show.
Oh yeah, I've watched that. Yeah.
It's getting me through this moment right now.
That's the one with the Flight of the Conchords, dude. Am I thinking of the right thing?
No.
What is that? That's another How many baking shows are there? Good
I
Lord.
don't know.
Okay.
No, he's from.
The Mighty Boosh. I'm thinking.
Yeah,
of.
Noel is from the Mighty Boosh. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But so Great British Baking Show. I really love Succession, and I could watch it again and again and again. And I really love, House of the Dragon. I just started rewatching it because I can't wait for the next season. And then Matt made me watch the first episode of The Penguin, which I'm like, it was good. I like.
The Penguin. I watched the first episode too, and I was just like, okay, this is a show. That's like about all I can take for this is a show. That's like pretty much it.
Yeah. It's fine. I don't know how interesting, how much I can get into like Gotham, you know?
Yeah. It's not really doing it for me.
So this show is called Mayday. Mayday by the BBC. Look it up, Mayday, and it's all about misinformation surrounding the Syrian civil war and the white helmets and all that. It's really creepy and interesting. As you all know, Syria, proxy war between Russia, the United States, Iran. Everybody was up in that war. And Assad ultimately won and murdered enough people to win and had enough Russian support to win. It just gets into like it's just tight. I love this podcast, Mayday. Everyone check it out.
All right, Mayday. Gonna check it out. I remember hearing about that, but I'm too lazy and stupid to actually go listen to it. You know what I forgot to do is for you to plug your channel. You're out here hustling on YouTube too. Girls
hustling. YouTube.com/FrannyFio, FranniFio. Streaming Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subs before the end of the year, if nothing else.
Oof. Have you been noticing? I know like a lot of people talk about everybody's trying to figure out the YouTube, it's like a black box, this YouTube thing. Like, have you been like getting subscribers? Do you feel like you're shadow banned? What's the feel on YouTube?
Oh, I'm definitely shadow banned because I don't have like 1 million like subscribers.
Oh, that's a shadow ban.
That's a shadow ban. Shadow ban.
We're both shadow banned.
I think it's very funny to say anyone who ever like says shadow ban, I'm always like, always a little bit like, are you shadow banned or you gonna suck? Like I don't.
Well, I think me and you don't already have hundreds of thousands of subscribers because we're too dangerous and like edgy, and our content is like it's too people aren't there yet. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. We're ahead of
of
curve.
our time. Yes, exactly. All great artists like us are ahead of our time. So
well, you actually do art. Like your vlogs are like actually artful. I don't do that. I'm mostly just screaming into the ether with other people who I like.
No, yours is art too. I always say when I'm watching one of your videos, I'm like, I'm gonna watch this piece. I call it a piece. I'm about to watch one of her pieces.
Fuck you. But yeah, no, but Franny Fio, FranniFio. Yeah, subscribe, dude. I mean, Everyone subscribe.
Yes.
Bonus episodes on Wednesdays. You look, a pedophile is going to be, you know, an attorney general. So guys, I just feel like this is, don't you feel
I think that's the
we
requirement.
should put a leftist spin on this, RM. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like this is just an example of restorative justice that Matt Gaetz is now attorney general, because like, just because he committed crimes doesn't mean he can't be rehabilitated. Obviously having served no time or facing any consequences for the said crimes, but I do feel like we should preempt the consequences and just go to the immediate failing up.
Yes.
You know, and that's real justice. Like, that's
I think that's it. That kind of is what it is. Somebody in the chat is giving you a hard time. They say you have bisexual lighting. Do you want to confront them on this?
this is I heard it's also like what's the reality show? It's also very like there's some reality show that it's like lighting. See, I don't even know. I don't know, man. I wish it were bisexual lighting. I wish there was like one light that was like, I'm a swinger, but no, there's not.
Okay, so I you know what? I should let you go. You gotta pick up your kid at some point. What's having a new kid like? Do you want to talk about that, or you want to? Seems difficult. Seems challenging.
It's really hard. They take up so much time, and you're just like, you know what? Some days you're like, I wish you weren't here. But she's so cute, and she now
that's the trick. That's the trick they play.
it's and here's the thing, guys. I'm not even gonna. I'm like, for real. We've taken her to like a couple Palestine demonstrations. Now, when she sees a keffiyeh, she says "Free, free Palestine."
Oh my
not
God.
even joking. Not playing.
Wow.
It's so cute. And what's crazy about having a baby, specifically a baby, is like it's deeply isolating. Deeply.
Right, because
Nobody calls you. You don't go out anywhere.
Yeah.
You don't know if it will ever end. You don't know if the hour will end. They're up all the time. You're Googling what maybe cry. Like you're just like bleary-eyed Googling your way into parenthood.
Yeah.
And all you like, just there is no end in sight. Then they start to become human.
Yeah.
But this whole time, you're like, you got to buy all this gear, and you got to take them, ferry them to hospital appointments, or doctor's appointments. And it's just like the time, the money adjacent to that, the work, it's just like,
it's nonstop. It's
nonstop. And it's fucking wild how little we support parents in this country.
Yeah.
And I have a pitch. My pitch is we should create something called Baby Island.
Ooh, I like this already.
This is obviously very different from, Epstein's Baby Island. No,
I was
this is-
thinking it's 10 babies go, 1 baby leaves, sort of thing.
Yeah. It's like, it's right. It's like Survivor, but like one of the babies gonna die.
Right. Yeah.
No, if I could get money, if I could like pitch this to some executives, I probably would. But it's basically like, for the first 12 months of the baby's life, parents, siblings, everybody goes to the island and everyone chills the fuck out.
Oh,
you
yeah.
chill out, you hang out on the beach, you look after each other's kids, you figure out how you're nursing and feeding and solids and blah, 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 and you just get to be on Baby Island. Right? And you get to live, there's free food, all this, you survive. I don't know, maybe you pay into it. Maybe
I would love to hear this pitch from like some politician. We're setting up Baby Island where if you're a new mother, you go into Baby Island, you get a free
new
flight.
parent.
Yeah.
You got a new parent, doesn't matter. And because you just lose your mind. You lose your mind. And then if you're lucky enough, my kid's in daycare, which is expensive. But she's in daycare, then some people cannot afford daycare or are like, no, I don't trust. Like, I hear parents are like, I'm losing my mind. And I know they have the money for daycare, but they're like, I don't trust anyone else with my kid. And I'm like, then you cannot complain, because children were meant for professionals. Most time they were meant to be with other little snot-nosed little cutie monkeys.
Yep.
Handled by professionals This is my opinion of children. They thrive there. Trust me, they thrive there. The professionals are great at it and they know how to deal with them in groups. You know what I'm saying?
There definitely are. There's a type of professional who's just like they got it. They got that skill of like dealing with a bunch of sort of
Yes.
wild little kids, you know? Like I know
Yes.
people like that. They're just like good at it somehow.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to like I feel like you know, I have friends who have kids and a friend of mine we were driving with the kid in the back and the kid just said they ask questions all the time at like 5, 6, and one of the questions was why is school real? Which I thought was a great question because she figured out like if I ask why do I have to go to school, there's an answer to that, which is you have to learn to read and all this crap, whatever,
Right,
you know?
right.
But why is school real is like a question about the nature of reality. Like why did you bring me into a world of school, you know? And like are you looking forward to when they start asking these crazy
School makes so much sense to me though, but like I do think about teaching because she can now do like days of the week
yeah.
and months. And it's like, why are days of the week real?
Yeah. Why is no one asking these questions?
Why are there 7 days of the week? Why
Yeah.
not 3? Why not 29?
Good question.
Like, why
We
don't we
should-
just mix it up a little bit? Some weeks have 2 days, other weeks have 12 days.
Yeah. We need to push this to a 3-day and then it rotates into a 12-day system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I say we should just go by whatever, like, you know, the crow caw, you know, that kind of, like, the crow caws the number of days this week will have.
Yeah. Or like somebody will go to like some kind of guru or whatever, some sage, and they'll tell it, you know, they'll do like ayahuasca or something, and they'll
Yeah.
tell us, okay, it's gonna be like 6 this week, you know?
Yes,
And
totally.
They'll talk to
Like
the gods.
that's what's, and you know what? There is a part of me that like feels you always wanted, like my imagination was that the world would be a better place by the time I had kids, you know, and like, you know, I would have made it better, or like we would have reined in climate change, you know, or all that. And what you realize is actually they grow up so quickly, and this world is going to be the exact same goddamn shitty ass world that it was when you thought maybe I should have kids. And they're just going to fold themselves into it and try to, you know, try to do it just like we're all doing it. And that is like so deeply, like, that's so deeply depressing. And I love, yes, I love kids. People in the chat being like, she doesn't like kids. Yes, I love my daughter. I love all kids. But I'm also just like, why don't I take her to go live in the jungle? You know, like, what if we did that?
Oh,
what
that's-
if,
yeah.
you know, like, what if we don't do days of the week and capitalism? What if we just, you know, learn about bugs and go forage? Like, wouldn't that be sick? Like, there is part of me that wants to do that.
What are you gonna tell, like, because I always wonder, like, when they become like a tween or a teen, like, what are you gonna? Well, I guess the question is, can you tell them anything, and what are you gonna try to tell?
About
her?
what, the birds and the bees? What are you talking
Well,
about?
just everything. I mean, definitely like dating and stuff. But what are you gonna tell them about like how the world works? Like, what do you gotta do? Like, what's like, how do you approach the world? All this stuff, or do you just you just can't say anything? You gotta let them figure it out.
No, I think actually, like, I feel like 12, 13 is, there's so much going on already when you're 12 and 13
Yeah.
that I feel like it's too late to actually, it's too much all at once. Like when I was 12 and 13, I remember like I mean, everyone has this story, but like the librarian at my school was found to be a pedophile. And it's like, oh no, like suddenly you were like, adults are bad. Bad
I
things
can't trust.
happen.
I can't trust these people. That
Like,
is the thing you
he-
learn. You learn that from your parents and from other adults. Like, okay, I'm in the care of these people, but I'm not sure if I could trust them.
Nobody
totally.
knows what they're doing. So I kind of want to, like, I would like my daughter at an earlier age to know there are bad people, but not that they like want to hurt you, but like there's just a bunch of dipshits out there. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's just like there's a bunch of like fragile, mean dipshits that want to keep you down, and like they come in all sizes and all shapes and all ages, and just to look out for them. So I feel like, and that some of it is no fault of their own. We live in systems designed to elevate dipshits, and so if you feel bad about yourself, you know, that is all part of the matrix, bro. Like that's all, you know what I mean? I'd like her to think that as well. I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid. You want them to be innocent, but I also think it's stupid to like, I think they're smarter. I think kids are smarter than we give them credit for. That's not, again, not to lay like too many sad things on them, but like learning about, you know, inequality is just like, that's actually kind of interesting. It's sad, but it's also sort of like interesting, you know? Okay, I get it, you know?
Yeah, just learning about how the world that you live in works. It's like kids are like, that has to be like kind of flattened out of them, you know. It's like they are naturally like interested. What, like the days of the week, why is it like this? They're always, why is it like this, you know? And that,
Oh God, and like, isn't it real that like, I mean, with school, it's like, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know what to tell you. That was my friend's answer. Like, why is school real? I don't know. I don't know why it has to be like, I can't tell you. I can't answer that. You're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the answer really is because mom and dad can't deal with you for 8 hours
Yeah.
during the day.
You're
Like,
a little much. You're a little much, frankly. Kid.
because you need to be socialized and broken in. But I do think that like that's what summer camp is for. I mean, if you can ever afford it, it's just for them to go like be like, you know, cave people for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully you can come back. This was really fun. It was fun hanging out and like drinking too much with you. That was cool.
Dude, instant bond. So glad to meet you in person.
It was fun.
And I'm immediately gonna chide you about vaping so much because
No.
now that I'm a mom, I can.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. As a mom, from a mom, I take your chiding. You win. I'll quit. Fine. All right. Well, thanks for doing this.
No, you have to
Francesca.
make it neon so it gets all glow in the dark and shit. I wonder if you
hell
could
yeah.
do that.
I want to get some more of those vapes that have like the, you know, like giant readouts on them. You know, like the
Oh hell
flat-
yes, those are tight.
Those are so tight. All right. Well, Francesca, I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, RM.
Bye. There we go. There she is. That's how she does it right there. Let's take some more calls. We're here. Why not? Why not? Who else we got? Ben Redder. Ben Redder, are you there?
I am here, RM Brown. How are you?
Whoa, Ben Redder alert. It's a
me.
full-blown Ben Redder alert right here. Ben, what's going on?
Not too much. Were you doing drops just now? I can't hear them.
Okay.
You'll never be able to hear them.
That's awesome. Okay. Yeah, how's it going, man?
You're
I'm calling
about
you
to be
to
valued.
plug Classified Cinema again because you're very nice and you let me do that.
Oh, that's right. What's up? What's going on with if this is in Seattle, right?
Yeah, it's in Seattle, and you've already promised to come and do one, so we have to figure out when we can do that.
Yeah, when do you,
And,
and can I do like I was saying I want to do some kind of like clip show. Can I do that? Can I just show like bad clips or something?
We can figure out something, yeah.
All right.
Like, we can probably do whatever you're into.
All right.
Like, our show is normally like we just play a feature, although a few times we've done like shorts. But
All
yeah,
right.
man, we can talk.
All right. When's your thing that's coming up?
It's Tuesday, December 17th at the SIF Cinema Uptown. You can check out all of our upcoming dates at classifiedcinema.net.
Okay.
Or you can follow us on Instagram, or if you want to see what we've done, like go to Letterboxd and look up Secret Movies.
All
That's
right.
our username. I don't know how we got it, but it's pretty cool.
Whoa. Okay, cool. Check out Ben Redder in Seattle. I think we have another guest. Who is it? Are they in? Where's the Discord? We got another guest. If anybody wants to talk to this other guest, you're never gonna believe this guest we got. Are you there?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you? How's it going on?
How's it going on? Ladies and gentlemen, this is what's your name?
Moo Dang the Hippo.
Okay. Moo Dang the Hippo. If anybody wants to ask any questions to Moo Dang. Moo Dang, you sound like somebody.
Oh yeah, I sound like Grimes. I sound exactly like Grimes, people say.
Okay, cool. So what's your deal? What's going on with you?
Dude, I wanted to plug. I got a spot coming up at the Mothership.
That's Joe Rogan's nightclub.
Yeah, I'm doing stand-up there.
Okay, so you do stand-up now.
Yeah, I got to really squeeze this, this viral crap that I'm getting. I really got to squeeze it. So I'm doing the stand-up at, what's this stupid thing called?
The Comedy Mothership.
Yeah, I'm going to roast people's asses. I'm going to, like, go out into the crowd. I'm going to do, like, TikTok clip crowd work style stuff. I'll go, hey, is that your boyfriend? I should tell him to shut the hell up. Stuff like that.
Okay, so this is how you're parlaying your fame.
Shut up. I sense a little attitude. I will get you.
You'll get me. How so?
Bites. Have you seen me biting people?
Yeah, you seem to bite a lot of people. What's going on with that?
They antagonize me. They say anti-hippo type stuff, so I give them a little chomp on the tuchus. Anyway, I gotta get the hell out of here. Somebody wants to spray me with water or something. I gotta go. Bye.
Okay, Moo Dang, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody has any questions for Moo, go in the Discord. Maybe we'll stay like 15 more minutes. We'll squeeze 15 more minutes out of this.
Oh!
Who do we got? Oh, somebody just dragged themselves out of the chat. Great. People don't even want to talk now. Somebody asked if Mike Tyson or Jake Paul is going to win. I might put money on Jake on that one. Right? Because Mike Tyson's almost 60 years old now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Bungle.
You talking to me, Aaron? I'm sorry.
Oh, good Christ. Bungle, what's going on?
I'm sorry.
What's
I was just wondering, have you guys heard anything about what the Onion is planning to do with Alex Jones's crumbling empire? Because if there's any chance that they're going to continue broadcasting, then I implore you, please get down there and broadcast your show from his smoldering ruins. It'd be awesome.
I was thinking about that. Yeah, the Onion bought InfoWars. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely the Onion is still pretty funny. I see some of their stuff. It's still pretty funny. I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
But you're local. It's the same town as you, right? Am I right?
The Onion, yeah. I mean, I think they've been doing it for way longer. They're way better, but. I think Adult Swim did that at one point. They did an InfoWars type show, but who knows? I mean, it's definitely fun. There something funny could come out of that. We'll see what happens. I kind of do want to see him as press secretary, right? I mean, press secretary is a meaningless job. You know what I mean? So why not give it to Alex? It's not 100% that won't happen. You know what I mean? That could happen.
It absolutely could happen. That's a great point, man. Great show. Fascinating show.
Hey, give me a break, Moo.
No, you get 0 breaks. I'll chomp you. Look at me in that picture. I'm really going off in that picture. I remember that day.
Yeah, what was happening that day?
I had too much sugar that day. I think I had one of those yellow Red Bulls that day. You know those?
Oh yeah, I like that. It's like the pineapple.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. But I really go off when I have one of those things. That's me in that picture. Look at that. Was definitely a Red Bull day. That was what I call a 2 Red Bull day.
Okay, so Moo Dang drinking a little bit too much Red Bull. Let's take one more call, then we'll get the hell out of here. I cannot. Kay, are you there? I'm just going to call you Kay because I can't read your name because Discord does not work properly.
Women are throwing themselves at me.
Hey, you're about to be value-tamed.
Oh, it's Kaz Nuwaku. Oh, I've seen some of your videos where you're swinging a sword around. Am I correct on that?
Oh my gosh, you are so correct. How's it going for you, dude?
Pretty good. I do have to ask you, have you ever defended yourself with one of those swords?
Oh my gosh. So there was this one time when we had a wildcat come up to us and I had to pull it out.
And you have a girlfriend, and you were like, I got this. Stand back, stand down. I got this. And you were swinging a sword at that wild cat.
Yeah, indeed, bro.
That's pretty good. That's pretty impressive. I would be like, whoa, this guy's really something. If I saw that, this guy's swinging a sword around at this wild animal. Was the animal intimidated by this sword swinging, or what?
He looked at me and he said, nah.
So you confused him away.
I did.
All right. So check Kaznuaku out for his sword swinging. You got anything else? What else is going on?
Well, I just had a question. I wanted to know, what is your favorite energy drink if you drink that kind of crap?
Oh, I was just talking to Moo Dang about the yellow Red Bull. I like that one. I think, we're really divided as a country on this one, but I think I'm a little bit of a rock star guy. Because the rock star to me, tastes healthier. There's something health related to it. That's how I've put that. That's how I've contextualized that. What about you?
I'm gonna have to say I'm a classic Red Bull guy, so that's probably the best one.
Okay, you're like just a very like you're a traditionalist. People call you.
Some would say, yeah.
Okay, and what do you get? What's the added? Do you start swinging? You start swinging the sword around faster when you have a couple of those, or what?
It does make that whooshing sound if you do drink a couple.
It's got the kind of anime trail on it. It's got that like that whoosh visual on it too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. All my friends say, hey, just put the cut something like in like an anime, and then like you're not even doing anything, it just cuts. I was like, how could you even do that?
This is how I picture the scene. Is like that wild cat comes, he's like baring his teeth at you, and your girlfriend is like, what are we gonna do? We got to get rid of this animal. And you're like, don't worry, I got this. You're like, first I got to drink 2 Red Bulls to get my energy level up. Then you get the sword, and then you confront the animal. That's how I picture it.
We're making movies here, bro.
I love it. Well, Kaznuaku, go check out Kaznuaku's channel. Are you still uploading stuff or what?
Oh, right this minute, I'm working on some Sims 4 videos. I got some cat videos, and who else knows what else I'll do.
Is that like a pervert game, Sims 4? Are people doing pervert stuff in that game or what?
I'd say maybe some people are doing pervert stuff, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Kaznuaku, good to talk to you. Good guy right there. That's a classic good guy. He's a classic Red Bull guy. He pounds a Red Bull, and then he gets his sword to defend his family.
Generally speaking, Chinese people look Chinese.
Okay, that doesn't seem related. Well, guys, this was a pretty good stream. Francesca, she's cool. Confirmed cool. I'm going to figure out all this OBS stuff, and then I'll be back with another stream soon. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.